Milsurp Garage Ruger Mark II pistol, 22 caliber, staple of any 22 collection. These Ruger Mark pistols. Here's my Mark III. You knew when I did the panel, the grip panel video where I had 2 sets of grip panels, you knew I was eventually going to end up with another one of these, didn't you? Because you could never have parts laying around that go to a gun that you don't have. It's just, it never works out that way. You have that mentality where you're like, well, they're only going to waste if I don't have a gun attached to them. Well, there you go. I know a bunch of you saw that video and knew I was going to get another example, and there you go. Could not turn this down. That bulletin board up at the range keeps calling my name. How do you look at this and turn your back on it? Not only that, it was like a package deal for a few of them, so even the price you see up here wasn't even the price I got it for. And ended up with a great deal. The gun itself, 5 magazines. These Packmeyer grips were on it, which was pretty cool, better than the originals. These are the originals, these plasticky ones. I can't stand those. This was on it. This was pretty nice, but opted to swap over to the wood ones. Also got this really cool Tactical Design Labs holster. That's pretty awesome. I mean, this thing is this thing is real deal here. Nice. And that came with it as well. How do you say no? So let's delve into this guy a little bit. Let's talk about it. What's different between the, well, instead of just going from the 3 back to the 2, let's just start from the beginning. I remember what I covered in my Ruger Mark III video. I should have watched it again, just for the sake of, consistency. If you made mistakes in that video, make the same mistakes now so you don't look like you're, don't know what you're talking about. Well, no, actually, we'll look at an opportunity here to have learned more and, make a better video, which probably won't happen. So Ruger Standard, 1949, that's when they came out. The Ruger Standard pistol. It's what started Ruger. It was his first thing. Some buddy of his came back from World War II, brought a couple of Nambu pistols. Bill Ruger took a look at them, said, I could do that. I just don't have any money to do it. So he hooked up with a friend of his, Sturm, Mr. Sturm, Alex Sturm, gave him 50 grand and said, yeah, you want to start up a company making pistols like Nambu pistols? Let's do it. Here's 50 grand. He started production in 49. And for 2 years, all they made was the Ruger Standard model. That was it, you know what I mean? And it became successful, and he expanded it. And in 1950, they started making a Mark I target pistol, which had adjustable sights, this kind of like a barrel like this, like a bull barrel, as opposed to the smaller tapered barrel. And they made that gun from 1949 to 1982. That's some run with the just the Mark I, or the Standard, the first incarnation of this pistol, before they changed up to this one. So along the lines, I just feel it's important to mention there was a change made in 71. They didn't call it anything different, but in 71, believe it or not, it's saying here, this is my Wikipedia info here. It actually says they wore out the stamping equipment. See, what does it say? 71, one of the few engineering changes ever made to the Standard model took place when the original 22-year-old receiver forming dies wore out. It's amazing that they literally are all made from the same die. That's crazy. You would think they had, by that time, they'd have a bunch of them. 22 years later, they're using the same die that they've been stamping them all out of. One die all that time. That blows my mind. I would never guess that. I would think by 22 years later, they'd have like machines all over a factory with all different dies punching them out, but guess not. So they, since that wore out, they made some changes to facilitate some changes they wanted to make with this guy. So they were like precursor changes, and it was is basically they changed this cutout for this magazine follower control here from this side to this side, so they could have room on this side for something else, whatever. It changed it around where they were able to add the changes that they wanted to make for the Model 2, which basically, I guess we might as well cover them. For the Mark II, the changes were hold open, number one. They went from 9 rounds to 10 rounds in the magazine. And I forgot what number 3 was, what the other ones were. I'm not sure if they were incredibly important, but I'll put it up there as a graphic. Those are the changes they made for the Model 2. Basically everything else the same. So the Model 2, the Mark II, sorry, follows the Mark I more closely than the Mark III. They did make some pretty significant changes when they went to the Mark III, but this guy, why I like this guy was, I love this barrel, this bull barrel like this target barrel, and the adjustable rear sight. That's what really did it for me, because my Mark III example has fixed sights and the normal barrel. And for the Mark III, see, so the timeline is the Mark II, so 1949 to 1982 for the Mark I, the standard. Then it was 1982 to 2005 for the Mark II. And the Mark III was 2004. It took over until 2016. So that's just those 3. These 2 right here had a run all the way from 82 to 2016. That's a successful pistol right there. That is definitely successfully manufactured pistol. These look so good with these grips like this. They really do. Grip panels, they're not a big thing for me to change all the time, but man, they look right on these guys, I'll tell you. And that what always bothered me about my Mark III was that if you look at like the list of Mark IIIs, like the different variants, there's a high-end model called the Hunter, stainless steel frame, different barrel sizes, fluted bull barrel, fiber optic front sights, adjustable V-notch sights, half checkered Cocobolo wood grips, all this stuff, right? Then the next one down the line is called the Competition. It's stainless steel, 6.875-inch slab-sided bull barrel, adjustable sights, Cocobolo grips with thumb rest. Next down, the Target. That pistol has stainless or blued 5.5-inch bull barrel, adjustable sights, black plastic grips on a blued finish, Cocobolo grips on the stainless steel. Now another step down is the bull barrel pistol, comes stainless steel or blued, heavier barrel to minimize recoil, 5.5-inch barrel, adjustable sights. I mean, every single one of them has adjustable sights, except the bottom of the line is the standard Mark III, tapered barrel, black plastic hand grips, blued finish, 6.5, which this is 6.5, or a 4.75-inch barrel with fixed sights. I really should, I'm not really 100% sure. Let me measure this and see. So this is the, well, I don't know. Maybe this is the 4, what does it say, 4.5? So I guess this is the 4.75-inch barrel, right? Never noticed that there were ones with like huge barrels. Barrel would be like about that long. 1, 2, really? 4.75? Yeah, I guess so. It certainly isn't 6-inch. That couldn't possibly be 6-inch, could it? 6 inches would be that much. That's definitely, no, I guess it is the 6-inch. I'm sorry. That's exactly 6 inches. So yes, this is the larger 6-inch barrel. At least I have the longer barrel on it. But like no options at all. It's just the most bare bones one there is. So getting one with adjustable sights and the bull barrel, that's all I really need out of it. I don't need any of the other, you know. So the changes for the Mark IV were a redesign of how, like the takedown, a hinged connection between the upper receiver and the grip frame, and it's easy disassembly, and a redesigned trigger group, redesigned bolt stop, ambidextrous thumb safety, and a drop-free magazine release mechanism. I'm going to tell you right now why I never messed with the Mark IV, and any Mark IV lovers here are going to hate that I'm even mentioning this, but there was a recall in 2017 on the Mark IV for a defective trigger and safety mechanism, and they did redesign the safety to be an ambi safety, so this might have something to do with it, the fact that they changed it. I mean, look at all those years they never messed with it, right? And then this is what happens when you change things. That's why, like, they decided to make those shit from 82, what was it, 82 to 2016 or something. And then right away, as soon as they're changing it, 2017, if the safety were midway between safe and fire, and you pulled the trigger, nothing would happen. But when you take the safety off safe and moved it to fire, then the hammer would drop. And that's crazy. So Mark IVs with serial numbers beginning with 401 or WBR were recalled. Yeesh. Well, never wanted to be put in that position, so I'll stick with the Mark II and the Mark III. Thank you. I'll just deal with some crazy takedown issues because the takedown is kind of crazy. I don't think we're going to do it on camera today. We might save it for like its own video, but there's other videos out there with these experts that know how to do it. One day, if I feel like martyring myself, I'll just give it a try. But the changes between the 2 and the 3, what were they? This is what's kind of cool. This is what interests us here, because we have both of these. So from Mark II to Mark III, or if you're, obviously it's be like if you're stepping back, since we're doing the Mark II now, what are we missing? You know what I mean? What had changed? What are we used to on the Mark III that may not be on this Mark II? One is the loaded chamber indicator. It says it right there, loaded chamber indicator. And it sticks out like that. It says loaded on it. That's pretty cool. But it's not on the Mark II. This is something they added for the Mark III. The magazine release, we're used to it here on the Mark III, up here, like where a normal magazine release should be. They're not drop-free magazines. They hang up. I think that's one of the other things with the Mark IV that they did, was make them drop-free. But on the Mark II, they were just still that European-style heel release, which doesn't really bother me that much considering how many, Milsurp European 25 and 32 caliber guns I have that have a release there. But that shows you why these grips have that relief there, because they were originally for this gun. But you could use them. You could use ones made for the 3 on the 2. You just can't go from the 2 to the 3 because it won't have that cutout. And this cutout is so much smaller than this one, you know what I mean? So you hardly even notice it. It's not so bad. I love the way these grips look, so it certainly doesn't bother me. What else? All Mark III pistols with adjustable sights are drilled and tapped for a Weaver tile scope base, which, since I don't have that, I don't have the scope base in it either. So that's a non-issue of a change. The magazine disconnect, that's an interesting one. All the time of having this gun, the way I've been operating with it is with the magazine out. There's a disconnect. There's a magazine disconnect. Mark II, no such disconnect. We could have the magazine out and we still fire. So the magazine disconnect was added for the Mark III. So for the Mark II, we do not have that. What else? Oh, the Mark III has this, and as I was reading this, I had to go back and find this key because I thought I lost it. I couldn't even find it. There's a lock here. So if you, on the Mark III, if you have the action has to be charged, you have to have it on safe. You fit this little, look, it's like an Allen key with a hole in the middle, and you fit that in here and you turn it. It's not the easiest thing to fit in, but you fit it in and you turn it, and it locks the safety on. You cannot remove the safety. Essentially like locking the gun. It's like a gun lock. You know what I mean? I've never had it come off by itself. I forgot that it was even there. I'm reading this. I was like, seriously? I have that? I went and looked. I had to, like I said, I had to even go look for this key. I found it. But make sure I put that on. Turn it off nice and snug so it doesn't move by itself. But listen, it's not such a bad thing to have if it never messes up. I didn't even know it was there. Hardly even noticed that hole. It's very unobtrusive. So there's that. That's missing here. There's no key lock. Shorter tapered bolt ears. You could definitely notice that. Here's the Mark III. You could see the ears here. And the Mark II, bigger ears. Oh, I think that's one of the things from the 1 to the 2 is they put these scallops here, I think that's one of the things. But yeah, bolt ear difference. The Mark II has larger ones. I guess people didn't like the larger bolt ears. And another one that a lot of people don't notice, going from the Mark II, look at the ejection port, right, to the Mark III. See the ejection port difference? They kind of rounded it out, tapered it more, smoothed it out more. There's a little kind of like sharper edges. I don't see any casings getting hung up by that, or I guess it's just aesthetics. I think it's just one of those things. They just added a machining step to make it look smoother. But functionally, I don't notice any difference. And yeah, that was it. The magazines are not interchangeable because of the fact that the ones with the button up here have to have a catch, obviously. So if it has a button, it has to have a catch. There's no catch here. So I mean, these will go in, but they just won't lock into place. And then these guys, they'll go in here and they will get captured on the bottom, but they don't seem right. They kind of like get caught a little bit on the way out. This edge gets caught up. I would just keep them separated. I wouldn't fool around. Because the magazines are made different. Just keep them different. That's my advice. So what do we got here as far as literature on these guys? Let's check it out. Let's take a look at, let's make some room over here. Let's take a look at the NRA Guide to Firearms Assembly. Let's scroll out a little bit here. The Ruger 22 automatic. Late January of 1949, Southport, Connecticut saw the birth of a new gun company. This happy occasion was the result of months of hard work on the part of Bill Ruger, the designer, and the late Alex Sturm, businessman. The result of this work was a new Ruger 22 automatic pistol of rather interesting design. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to get into this, like, this how I think that he had something to do with metallurgy or stamping procedures. Production was begun in a small shop in Southport, and the first guns were shipped on October of 1949. By the end of the year, over 1,100 guns had been produced, and the company was well on its way in the gun field. About 2,500 pistols were manufactured before the first change of any significance was made. Somewhere between guns number 2,500 and 2,800, the bolt and firing pin were changed to facilitate production. They did away with the hand fitting that was necessary in the early guns. In 1950, after the standard model had won its spurs, the firm introduced the Mark I target pistol a target model of the same gun. The Mark I is basically the same as the standard model with the exception of the heavy barrel and the target sights. The standard model Ruger resembles a famous military automatic in outline and balance, but the resemblance ends there. They're talking about the P08, the Luger. When it was really the Nambu. It was his friend coming home from World War II showing him Nambus that got him thinking about this design, making a gun like this. This actually what they first looked like. And then it couldn't help the comparisons to the Luger. But the gun makes use, the Ruger was designed with modern mass production methods in mind. The gun makes use of numerous well-designed, stamped and screw-machined parts. The frame of the Ruger 22 automatic is manufactured in a rather novel manner. Two sides are stamped and pressed to shape, one right hand, one left hand. These sides are then carefully welded together at the joint to form a complete frame. This procedure is excellent from a manufacturing point of view, as it makes for lightweight receiver and keeps costly machinery time to a minimum. But this procedure also has a drawback. Care must be taken when holding the receiver in a vise for repairs. Don't apply too much pressure to areas on the receiver that lack cross members. Due to the manufacturing procedure used on the Ruger, the barrel and receiver are considered as an assembly. So the barrel and the receiver, I'm pretty sure there's no unscrewing barrels and screwing barrels back in. They're kind of like, I don't think they were manufactured as one part, but they're not made to ever come apart again. The barrel is screwed tightly against the face of a blank receiver. The barrel and receiver are then machined as a unit. So it's a blowback operated automatic pistol. It's proven itself to be accurate and reliable as a target gun. The takedown procedure is simple, but a few points must be observed when stripping it. Be sure the hammer is down resting. Okay, so there are they give you a couple of the really important pointers right here at the end. And the vaguest possible description on how to take it apart and put it back together. You definitely have to know the procedure. But that's the NRA book. And it's covered also in our Encyclopedia of Modern Firearms, Parts and Assembly, our Brownell book. Gotta love the Brownell book. Here's the exploded diagram, list of parts, some interesting nomenclature, and there we are. So two halves pressed together and welded. So this right here, the long here, there's a weld, I would suppose, holding this all together. Maybe not the trigger looks like it's added. This trigger housing looks like it's added later. But this whole bottom part here is a stamping, left and a right side stamping. Interesting, right? You don't even see, oh, this one you could kind of see the parting line a little bit, where the weld would have been when it was grounded down. Interesting. Yeah, this is where you start taking it down from. Maybe one day we'll do it. We'll get in there one day. I got to feel confident with it because it is kind of crazy. So what's the story with these things? They eat any kind of ammo. So finally, here's something I don't have to go like, oh, just use CCI, standard velocity. It's like, it worked great. CCI, standard velocity, it works great. But CCI mini mags, you want to start using stingers, you want to use, I mean, go crazy with this thing. You could use anything. They're strong enough and made to handle any kind of ammo that's out there. You're not going to break them. And what's interesting about them is they have like an interesting design in that there's no slide that reciprocates or anything. It's all just the bolt. That's it. Just the bolt is what moves. So from this standpoint, when you're firing it, just looking from this side, all you'll see move is this bolt handle here. And from this side, all you see move is what's in here. There's no slide to reciprocate at all, you know. So that's what makes them accurate for follow-up shots. There isn't much reciprocating mass really or anything moving. And there's not really any recoil at all to speak of, because this bolt does soak up just about anything. So it's really fun to rapid fire these things because of that, you know. So the Ruger Mark pistols, gotta love them. So that's about it. Really glad I found this Mark II, because even though I got the Mark III, these guys really complement each other. And it's nice just taking them both to the range and like going back and forth between the two. Really, really feels nice. A lot of fun. And that's it. Listen, I'll see you guys soon. I got some time off now coming up here, so I'm gonna get in there, get some of these examples out on the table, go over all my notes again so I can remember all my history, so I don't embarrass myself, and then make a video with half accurate information and half mistakes, because that's what we do here at the Milsurp Garage. And be back soon. You all take care. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all later.